Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some tips and tricks on installing the EVA or the HydroTurf foam in your boat. I'm going to tell you a few things about our boat, and hopefully some of this stuff will help you guys along the way, make your installation look a lot better, make it look professionally done, and just give you a few tips and tricks of things that I learned when I was installing it on our boat. So let's get to the video. Welcome back to the channel, guys, and if you don't know, we've got the Tracker, Grizzly Tracker 1754. I have done a video recently installing the bimini top on our Tracker 1754 SC, and I even took a thermometer out on a hot sunny day and shot the difference between the temperature inside the boat in the shade versus what it's doing in full sun. In full sun, I was shocked to see that the temperatures were getting up to 154 degrees. That, guys, is really, really hot, and that's why it feels like it's burning your skin when you bend over and touch it, because it really is. The EVA foam is supposed to be much cooler to the touch. We're going to put it to the test, and if you stick around till the end of the video, we're doing the same thing. I'm going to use a laser thermometer. We're going to get temperatures off the EVA foam versus temperatures off the metal boat, and even put my foot down barefooted on it. I don't like doing that, guys, because I don't like my feet getting hot or hurting, but I'm going to do it for you guys. So for starters, one thing that I do want to point out real quickly, there's nothing very difficult about this at all. So if you have any reservations at all, let me just explain to you a few tools that will help you and make this a lot simpler for you. If you can get you a straight edge, this one's 6 foot long, it's going to come in extremely handy. The one thing I do want to stress is when you get this EVA foam, there's nothing square about it. Your edges aren't square, and the parallel sides are not square, and they're not cut square. I'll run you down this ruler again so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Guys, I'm not complaining about this material. I'm just saying, if you look, there's nothing square about this thing from the factory. So if you're thinking that it's 46 inches wide, by the time I'm assuming that these lines here are straight. You can only assume that. So we're going to cut off the high side on this side over here. That will leave it with a low side down, so whenever we get ready to piece in the other two pieces, one on each side, it'll make it easier. Now, guys, what I'm doing is I'm going to put this piece right down the center of the front hatch, and I will show y'all what we're going to do. We're going to have the main piece, which is this piece here, will be in the center on the front deck of the John boat, and then by making this line over here straight on both edges, it should make it easier to cut the piece that will be kind of diamond shaped on both the right and left hand side. My logic on that is to have, since this is where the majority of your foot traffic is going to be, I don't want a seam in the middle of the boat, so we'll put the majority of the width right there dead center in the front of the John boat, and then have two pieces on, one on each side, so two additional pieces. So if you want your boat to look professionally done, what I suggest you do is, just like if you went to Home Depot and you bought a piece of plywood, square up all the edges, and that way you can start off with a square piece. We used a frame and square. That's the only tool I really didn't bring over here to show you, but a frame and square, a 3 foot metal tape measure, this 6 foot one, the big thick one, and then just a regular 12-inch for your smaller pieces. And then I also use this little circle gauge. This is something that I made myself, and this is just to kind of round off some of them corners so it looks a little more professionally done, as opposed to just blocked off corners. Put a rounded edge on it. In my opinion, it just looks much nicer. The biggest thing I can tell you is do not scrimp on the razor blades. And when I say scrimp on them, I'm not talking about the cost of them. There's a couple of different packages at Lowe's where you can get these, and I've never liked these. They're cheesy razor blades, but I'll tell you where they come in handy when you're using the EVA foam is that EVA glue gets all over your blades, and then it gets to where it won't cut. So my suggestion for you is this, is every time you make a cut, change your blade. And that may sound excessive, but that's the only way you're going to keep getting sharp cuts. Now here's where I'm talking about scrimping on the cost. Lowe's brand is quite a bit cheaper than this other brand, and I don't remember, this one's called, I don't know, it's twice as high. This didn't cut any better than the Lowe's one. The thing about it is you're going to have to keep breaking these blades off to cut through the foam anyways, so you might as well go with the cheaper one. And if you go with the cheaper one, you may be more likely to go ahead and keep breaking it off every cut. If you do that on every cut, your cuts are going to come out looking really nice. What happens is that glue gets built up on these razor blades, and then you start getting the jagged edges. If you guys have ever done any kind of leather work or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. To cut leather, you have to have a really sharp edge, or it ain't going to work. Same thing with this EVA foam. I did use a piece of 1/4-inch plywood. You can still buy a piece of plywood relatively cheap. I've watched videos where guys are cutting it on the concrete or even putting it on their boat and then trying to cut it. Those are some other options. I'm just telling you what we did is I had a piece of the 1/4-inch plywood already. So I set it up between my assembly table and my table saw here in the shop, and that way I could roll it out, and that way I could get the straight edges down the length as well. We did start out, I put the EVA foam in the middle of the boat. In the main area of the boat where the console is, I put that down first. That way I'd have some padding on my knees when I got ready to do the front deck and the back deck. We used a total of 3 sheets. If you guys are going to do that area where the little rod rack is on the tracker, you're going to end up needing to order 4 sheets. We did the front deck, the main part of the boat, and the rear deck with 3 sheets. I think that's plenty. Again, if you want to do that area where the rod and reel is going to be stored at, you might go ahead and order a 4th sheet because you're not going to have enough to do that. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to jump over into the shop. I'm going to show you some of the things that I was talking about as we're installing this, kind of go over the process of what we did. And when I say we, it was me. I did use some 10-pound dumbbells to help hold especially the big pieces in place. That way you could get it started and not worry about it shifting. And that will help you as well if you don't have somebody who can help you hold it so that you don't have any shifting as you're pulling the paper off. I would start out with a little piece of the HydroTurf exposed, get it set down, and then get it straight, good and straight, and then from there go ahead and start pulling off the rest of that backing material and then walk it on down. I've seen a lot of people where they use the rollers, and the rollers would be a great thing to have. I couldn't find one. They didn't have them at Lowe's, and if they did, they were hidden. I couldn't find it, and I wasn't going to go out and buy anything. I just used a regular rolling pin on a lot of it, just like you'd see in your kitchen. It works just fine. Out of all the pieces that I installed, I had one tiny on the back left corner of my boat when I was doing that little triangle back there by the transom. That one piece wasn't sticking. It didn't want to stick. I have no idea. Everything I did the same. I did the SOS pads for cleaning the floor along with the acetone to clean it and get it prepped and ready. But that piece did not want to stick for whatever reason. I'm not sure. I did stick one of the 10-pound weights on it. Came back about an hour later and it was stuck down solid. So I know there was something going on with that one piece, but so far we've been out twice and it's still sticking on. I don't think it's going to fall off, but I was pretty impressed with the fact that all of it stuck down, I mean, really, really well. Again, guys, if you found any of these tips helpful or useful, consider giving us a thumbs up. We appreciate each and every one of you. I'd love to hear from you guys. What are some of the things that you guys may have done differently than what I did on our install as we're walking you through it? I wanted this to, number one, look professional. I need it to last forever. And I think using an extreme amount of razor blades to make the job go by, when you're investing $400 for HydroTurf, A box of razor blades for 10 bucks is a pretty minimal expense. That's less than the taxes or shipping. So it's not that big a deal to go ahead and use those tools. And just like I say, that's going to be the biggest key takeaway that I think that we could give you guys as far as wrapping this up. Use a sharp razor blade for every single cut. Take your time. There's nothing to be in a big rush about on this. Take 5 minutes longer now, and it's going to look great the rest of your life. Again, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you found some useful tips in it, think about giving us a thumbs up. We appreciate each and every one of you. And until next week's video comes out, be sure to check out one of our playlists of videos that we've made especially for you. I hope you all have a blessed week. And let's get outside and make something happen.
It's 88 degrees outside right now. And what I wanted to do is do basically a follow-up talking about this HydroTurf that we installed in this boat. And I brought out my thermal pin. We've been out here about an hour, hour and a half, something like that. But let's go ahead and shoot this right now. We're going to shoot this. Let me find my little red dot. There it is. All right, right there is 126 degrees. Can you guys see that? We're up to 130. I'm sorry. Yeah, that can't be right. Heavens, who knows? Maybe it is. It's showing 149. Well, no, the AstroTurf is showing to be 150 degrees, and I don't think that's right. This is showing 125 right here on the metal. Right here beside it, the AstroTurf is showing 136. Guys, I don't know, man. I can tell you right now. Let's do the barefoot test and see. AstroTurf feels really good on my feet. Oh, son of a, yeah. There's some issues with that. I'm not stupid, guys, but that hurt. Where'd my bobber go? Oh, is that yours? Mine's gone? Oh, crud. Let's see what we got going on here. Hang on a minute, guys. Okay, take two. I was going to show you guys how comfortable the bimini top is in the shade back here. And I heard something splash. And I turned around, and my rod that I had laying on the front deck, just like this one with a nice size minnow on it, has, yeah, this will be the second pole in 2 trips. Oh, yeah, technically within a week's time, because, yeah, Monday I brought the wife out here and we knocked one of hers, I probably knocked it off in the water, and now I just had evidently a big fish just took it, because it ain't gonna jump off the boat. My lands. I was like, what was that? Did you hear that big splash? And she's like, yeah, I heard it. And I turn around and I'm like, well, that's, my rod's gone. Son of a gun.